This inspires me, like the questions that I ask myself, and majority of those questions, they are with no answer. So it's like rhetorical questions, and this gives me a need to like transform it into, give it is the thought a certain shape, and transform it into the musical composition. Something like that.
Elena, it's so great to meet you here on Zoom.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me for this interview.
It's a great pleasure. So you are in London at the moment?
No, I'm not in London. I'm in Guernsey. This is a small island in
okay.
Yeah, I moved here from London in like a little bit more than 3 years ago, and I'm still here. This was my original plan, but I'm still here.
Oh, okay. So what was the original plan?
Original plan was probably to come back to London, because it was just like intertwined circumstances that brought me here.
Okay.
Yeah, but to be honest, I feel more or less settled at the moment here. So I probably 1 more year.
Okay. But you're originally from the Ukraine?
Yes, originally I was born in Ukraine.
And your music, the music education started there?
Yes, exactly. And I completed it in London.
Oh, I see. Okay. So at what age did you start playing the piano?
Oh, that's a quite difficult question. I think it's like 5 years old, I think, when I was.
Okay.
Because my mother is a pianist, so she started to teach me piano at that very early age.
And oh, that's interesting that your mom plays the piano as well. So for how long did your mom teach you?
Until I was 15, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Was it easy to get lessons from your mom?
No, it was not easy, because it was quite high demanding. And I believe that when we are at that age, we just don't really realize how important to build this discipline and consistency. You just have to do that, and you just have to accept this fact that you have to do. Yeah. But you actually start to like music a little bit later, when you already built up your knowledge, some skills. Yeah.
So at the age of 15, did you go to London then?
No, it was a long journey for me. So when I was 15, I went to study to Moscow in music college. Then I entered the University of Cinema for sound engineering. And after that, I came back to Ukraine to Music Academy, where I got a bachelor degree in music. And then after that, in 2018, I moved to London to study at the Royal Academy of Music, where I obtained a master's degree. Yeah.
And was it easy for you, the transition to London?
No, it was very difficult. It was completely different. Everything is different. Yeah, but I'm very thankful to this opportunity. This is a great place, academy, and it's also school of life. You know, it's a mix of different cultures, and it's a great experience. I'm so happy that I had a chance to be part of it.
Yeah, I spoke to a pianist once who said that sometimes going to these colleges, yes, it's about the education, but it's also about building connections, you know, and getting sort of people and collaborating and things like that.
Yeah, this is something that was completely different from our system. When you're sort of allocated and not forced, but you just have a plan. You got it from your teacher, and then you have to stick to it. When in Royal Academy, it's such a flexibility. It's such a it's much more creative process.
Yeah, I can imagine with other creatives as well, or other musicians then as well, then you bounce off each other. You sort of get something from everybody and you give something in the process as well.
Yeah, and you have a very strong motivation in the Royal Academy when you see that this student is doing this and this and that and that, and you have to, I have to do something, and it's pushed you into this process like unconsciously. And you see a significant growth of your professional skills when you are in those atmosphere.
And you also probably see where you are heading to, because there are many professional musicians and many opportunities in London, or in bigger cities, so that you can see, okay, so this is the direction I want to go, or that you can sense it that way.
Yeah, for me it was a bit difficult in the beginning. It was my first year in London, actually no, second. So I still had to explore of how it works. So I will be honest to say that I didn't build that much connection. I just feel more or less settled now after being 6 years in the country. So beginning for me was not that easy path, but it had to be like that. Everyone has its own way and path.
No, but it's when you move from one country to the next, you have to sort of reroute. And I remember somebody telling me once, if you replant a tree, it takes long for the roots to settle in the soil again. So, and I always think about that if you move from some country to another, or even from some town to another town, then it's sort of rerouting yourself again.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. I mean, I completely changed my mind about moving to other place, because now I sort of became addicted to it. So I'm searching for something else. I'm for looking now.
Okay.
The country where I want to live. So I believe my ideal way is to live a little bit in here, a little bit in here, a little bit. So when it's enough, when you feel that more or less settles, it's time to move.
Oh, okay. So you like the rerouting.
Now, yes, but I didn't expect that from myself. In the beginning, it was too complicated.
Yeah. And so it was a piano, and then you're composing as well.
Yeah, I'm composing. I'm trying to focus more now on composing. I started, let's say, my first album I released in 2017. But it was more like a hobby. But now I'm more. My plan is to focus much more on this aspect. I didn't mention before, I work just a music and piano teacher and accompanist in the college here. Oh, okay. And this takes majority of my time, to be honest. But in my ideal picture of my life, it's more composing rather than teaching, like eventually.
Okay, so you would like to do that mostly, the composing.
Yeah.
And what inspires you to write music?
That's I would say it's not that straightforward process. Like you're looking at the rain and it inspires you how beautiful it is. It's just like a collection of different emotions or something that influenced on you and your events in life, and you just feel the need to express it through the music. And I also believe that when I mainly compose in minor, and it's not intentionally, it just goes like that, it turns like that, because I think that when you're happy, like happiness itself, and in its simplicity, it doesn't require the expression. It's just the statement of your soul, let's say. It's straightforward. Okay. But when you are the creativity comes from the tension and from a searching, from the need to explore, from the need to express, from the need to analyze, to think, all of the things. This inspires me, like the questions that I ask myself, and majority of those questions, they are with no answer. So it's like rhetorical questions, and this gives me a need to like transform it into, give it is the thought a certain shape, and transform it into the musical composition. Exactly.
So you would say difficult situations or times in your life where there's little sadness or something like that, that sort of brings these questions to the surface.
Yeah, and maybe it's not just such a straightforward questions. It's just sort of not a particular situation. It's just a general mix of those thoughts that maybe every one of us has, and question themselves about the self-actualization, about the meaning or meaningless of the life, these sort of things.
So do you hear melodies then? Like, do you hear, or how does it become something? You know, it's from a blank piece of, I say paper, but it's on the computer. But is there some melody in your mind then?
Yeah, I think not a melody. I think my main tool of express the music is the harmony.
Okay.
I believe it comes more from harmony rather than from melody, such harmonical patterns, and I have an idea, and then I just give it a shape to this idea, make it like that. So that's why for me it's quite challenging to compose the songs. You know, it has a melody, lyrics, and it has a sort of, I have a different patterns, what's the word, structure, different musical language, maybe.
Okay. So it's you don't put lyrics to your songs then, to your music?
No. I mean, I can try, but I don't feel it will come naturally.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like really, it's coming more from harmony.
Mm-hmm. And first, what was the urge to compose? When did you get that feeling? You know, I want to write my own music.
It was 2017 was my first album, so I believe I started a bit early, maybe 15, 16, and I found out Niels Fram, German composer, for myself, that I discovered for myself, and I went to his concert, and this was probably the first step to inspire me. So I thought, I would like to be like him. I like this music. Okay, let's say it's inspired me a lot to make a first step towards this direction. Yeah, and then I was just sitting in the outskirt. I lived in Moscow at that time, and outskirt of Moscow, it was very dark weather, it was cold, it was such miserable, and I thought that I was just trying something to give it a certain shape, and I couldn't stop. So I could not sleep because I was thinking about this composition, what is next. So I was curious what I can create next. And it turned in my first composition, which I still think is one of my best compositions. Monologue from my first album, as I mentioned before. Yeah.
But that's amazing that it just came from within then. So you didn't have previous training in composing, and
I had, but it didn't really. It was more like say artificially created, but nothing. I couldn't create anything that came naturally from my soul. Let's say like that. Yeah. So it came more from brain rather than from your personality. So if you yeah, I don't know if I explained it in the right way, but.
And when you listen to it now, can you place yourself again in that situation there in Moscow? Does it take you back emotionally to that place?
This actually, I never thought about that. I would say no, because every time you listen it or you perform it, especially perform, you're trying to find something else, something different. I'm trying to give it a new color, some like it's when you read the same book after 10, 20 years, you see completely different things and completely different meaning. It's something similar to that. So you want to interpret in a different way, from the different perspective, from a different angle, those composition.
And do you when you compose, do you need quietness? Do you need that atmosphere, like it's quiet around you and you don't have a lot to do? Or do you like to compose when it's a little bit busy and there's a tight schedule?
So it's all different. I don't have a specific rule to myself. So now I'm composing and everyone is quiet. Just of course the atmosphere around it's important, because now I live in a small cottage. It's been already 3 months, and I've been dreaming about such place for creative atmosphere.
Really?
And it means a lot, yeah, rather than you are in a city. But I wouldn't say that it's a major difficult to that it's something that would influence that much on my process. Yeah, if I concentrated, I'm concentrated. So it's just something extra. If you have a nice and quietness and nice place around, but it's not the most important thing when you compose.
Somebody that I spoke to who is a singer-songwriter, but she said that she sees colors, and she sees pictures when she starts composing. Do you see colors when you compose?
I think it's very rare when composers, they see those colors or just or images. I wouldn't say that it's that. Again, I wouldn't categorize it or say that it's so straightforward. Sometimes you have these recollections from from your past, but mainly it's just the something abstract.
Oh, okay.
It's not a particular story, unless you want to do it a particular story. But usually it's just something that you want to just reveal, like your emotions, and that's it. It's not about a certain scenario script. For me, it's like that. So I wouldn't say colors. It's more dark color. If I would have such a skill to see the colors, it would be definitely dark colors. Gray, black, brown, not yellow, not red. Definitely.
But do you feel when you've composed something, is it easy for you to put it out there? Are you always confident to know, okay, this is the right thing, or this is going to be people going to love this?
No, I don't have it. I know that when I compose at home and when I bring it to the studio, it's two different pieces. And I would say I don't really think as that much about the opinion. So I first in the beginning, then of course I'm interested in the feedback, but in the start, I just, as I said before, it's just your inner world. I bring it here into shape of sounds. That's it. I'm not really worried that much at this stage of, oh, would this work or no? So it's just
I
you.
see. Okay. Yeah. But do you usually play your music yourself? Do you give it to orchestras, or do you play?
I mainly compose for piano because that's my instrument, and sometimes I add. Now I'm experimenting more with other instruments and also electronic addition to this to piano, but mainly I just write it on paper first. This is quite important for me, and then I go to the studio and then transform it into more or less how I wanted it to be.
So you write it on paper. You don't use the computer software.
I use it in the studio only, but I just write the drafts. Sometimes I use just the short bits of it, a little bit this, that. So I'm not sure where it will go. And then after some time, I open my notes and say, okay, I will probably work with this bit today, because those 3 or 4 or 5, I don't like them anymore. But I think this is gonna, can work.
But amazing that you do it on paper, because so it's all in your head until you go to the studio.
Yeah. And I don't know about the final result until I'm there.
Oh, okay.
So it can be for half a year that I keep only this on paper.
Wow. So how is that feeling when you then suddenly hear it?
This is once there was a case when once I spent 8 hours in the studio, and then when there was time to leave because they were about to close, and how it's possible? It's just, what's the time? So I didn't really realize that it's been 8 hours. For me, it went like 1.
Really?
So this is just like my dream to live in a studio. This is actually, I think, that we can call ourselves happy if we find the main such a job that you don't feel as a job.
Yeah.
So for me, this is composing, and the process when it's like you're giving a birth to a baby, and then finally you can see this. And then you listen again and again and again. My favorite moment when I'm on the way home, it's dark at night, and I'm listening to this music. And sometimes I cannot believe, like, no, I didn't expect it to be like that. That's my favorite feeling, and it's amazing. Like after maybe half a year, 1 year, it's some of the pieces that I left them. I don't know how we call this, when I think it's not going to work, but then suddenly you bring it to life again, and you thought, oh my God, why it was just there. It's
really?
It's this is creativity. This creative process is it's my life. It's my dream to constantly live in this process, and find all the time find something different for yourself, and to discover yourself.
And but it's also that when you go back to things that you've put down, maybe the time was just not right, that you could develop it more. You
see it as I mentioned before about the books. So same about music, you see it from a different perspective, different angle. That's also quite interesting. Or it can be also opposite. You think that's too childish. That's not interesting for me anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have these moments where you just say, okay, no, I'm not working on this piece anymore.
Yeah, I feel that sometimes, oh no, this is maybe primitive. I don't want this. I have this, of course.
But
or,
no, carry on.
or you want to compose something like with a certain, as I said before, script, yeah, because normally I don't like it, but okay, I force myself today, I'm going to do that, and it also won't work because this needs to come in a natural way. Unless it's a commission, and you have to do that, and you have frames, then it works in a different way. You sort of your brain, they don't have other chances to think about that. You have to do that, and you do it. And somehow inspiration came. I don't know how it works again.
But do you do a lot of commissions?
I do not a lot of, because as I said before, I work in school and it takes majority of my time. Okay. But ideally, I would like to do much more and to move this focus from teaching to composing, because it's much more creativity, and that's the way how I can express myself. Rather than teaching, you still have to stick to a certain rules is not the right word, but to
schedule, sort of.
Yes.
Or a routine,
routine, yes.
But so what type of music do you enjoy composing? Because I see there you do new classical music.
This is quite difficult now in a modern world to say to categorize, because how everything started in Baroque, classical, romantic, modern, and the more we go forward, the more difficult it is to categorize. I would say that it's maybe classical or crossover or neoclassical music or modern classical music. So I'm definitely in those categories.
And but you have music that you release.
There will be EP, my next album, and will be released next week.
Oh, so okay.
In a few days, which is called Aphorism 157. So it's I was inspired by Nietzsche's quote from his Nietzsche quote, and it's very sensitive topic, so I probably won't talk about this now, but it's about dualism, and it's freedom or responsibility or life and death, and perception of or aesthetic of the death, like it's that we as a human being, we realize that life has an end, and this gives us a motivation to find your self-actualization in life and meaning in life. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And okay, so where will this be released, on Spotify or
on digital platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and etc.
Okay. But tell me what you've said now before, that you really want to commit and be a composer full time, and just do that. But what are the other wishes for you for the future? How would you see your life? How would you wish for it then?
I would say wishes. It's just to continue with what I'm doing, because it's quite difficult, and sometimes it's disappointing, and sometimes you think that no, it's not going to work, and like you have to be all the time motivated and strong, believe in your values, believe in your vision, and to be stubborn. And it's perseverance. It's important to carry your beliefs and your values, and don't let anyone to doubt yourself. Something like that. That would be my.
No, but that's true.
Yeah.
No, that's true. And I think as a creative, it's always that thing that you really have to be determined to stand for what you want.
yeah, and even if something doesn't go right, take it as just an experience.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah,
Everything goes as it should.
yeah. Do you enjoy teaching?
I enjoy teaching when it's in not in such big portions of it.
Oh, okay.
Not like in the factory. And
Yeah.
with the students, yeah, when you see the result, of course, when you see the energy, you give energy and you get back energy and you see the result. Yeah, of course, I enjoy in that case.
Yeah. But this was so great to talk to you, Elena. Your music is so beautiful. I'm so glad that I found you on Instagram.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you for this.
And yeah, I wish you all the best for the future and for you to be able to be in the studio for 8 hours a day.
Maybe more. Thank you.
More. I'm putting the wish out there for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.